He mummified 26 bodies of girls and women between the ages of 3 and 29. And his parents thought it was normal that he had life-size mummified dolls all around the apartment. Anatoly Moskvin was born September 1st. He was a Russian physiologist and historian. He was arrested in 2011 after he exhumed and mummified girls to women and placed them all around his apartment. His parents lived with him, and they thought it was normal. They thought that it was just a hobby that he had, and they didn't think anything of it. His parents mistakenly took them as life-size dolls. Let that sink in. Seriously. Do better, parents. Do better. He would dress them and pose them all around the apartment. Picture in the living room, in the kitchen, bathroom, bedrooms, all around the place. For what? For his enjoyment. So he was born September 1st, 1966, and he still lived with his parents when this was going on. Now, in 2016, he was scheduled to marry a 25-year-old woman who attended his trial. Okay, what's going through your head, ma'am? Let me know. Help me understand how you find this man who did this to ages 3 to 29-year-old women, girls and women, and you find him attractive. You chose to, out of all the men out there, you chose to marry him. Help me understand that. So he would exhume these bodies from local cemeteries and bring them home, mummify them, and then dress them and then pose them around the apartment. He graduated from college. He had a psychological degree from Moscow State University. He was in the academic circle. This man was not one of these just fell off the bread truck type. He actually went to college and went to school, had a degree. Okay. Speaks 13 different languages, written several books, papers, and translations, all in the academic circle. And this is what you chose to do for your hobby? He was a journalist. He wrote for the local paper. He contributed to the publications in the newspapers. Seriously? Help me understand what went wrong in your brain, how you decided. I would like to know, because guess what? The system failed because the system says that he's psychologically messed up. So they didn't incarcerate him. They put him into a psychological facility. So he was scheduled to do 5 years in prison, but due to a psychiatrical evaluation, it was determined that Moscow had a form of paranoid schizophrenia. So in that hearing, on May 25th, 2012, the Linsky District Court of Nizhny Novgorod, excuse me, I'm probably messing up that whole name, but they basically decided that he was unfit to stand trial. So instead, he was moved to a psychiatrical clinic, and that's where he stays for the rest of his days. Now, in February 2013, a hearing approved an extension of his treatment. Moskvin's treatment was again extended April 2014, and yet again in July 2015. In 2014, a spokesperson stated, after 3 years of monitoring him in a psychiatrical treatment at the clinic, in September 2018, Moscow's doctors stated that he was no longer dangerous and petitioned to the court release him outpatient care from home. Are we serious? From home? Bro, who in their right mind is going to release this man from home when he did all his crimes at home? And he was supposed to be a substantial citizen. What are y'all thinking? Now let's get to the interview. Why did he do this? What possessed you in your right mind? That is my main question. What made you think that this was okay? This was a great hobby. This was something that you wanted to freaking do in your life. Why? Well, he believed that black magic would bring these little girls back to life to live a substantial life. He stated in an interview that he felt great sympathy for these dead children and thought that they could be brought back to life by either science or black magic. So he decided to start searching the obituaries for recently deceased children. And when he found an obituary that spoke to him, he would sleep on the child's grave in order to determine the spirit wished to be brought back to life. He openly admitted that he would never dig up a grave of a deceased child or deceased woman who did not speak to him first, who did not ask him to be brought back to life. So these deceased people in these graves spoke to him and told him to dig me up, mummify me, dress me, and put me in your apartment. Is that what you're saying? So he believed that if they didn't speak to him right then he would later bring him to his home, dress them, and then he would mummify them, dress them, and do all them things, and they would speak to him then. Bro, did they speak to you then? Have they spoke to you yet? I mean, are they coming to you in wherever you're at? Are they speaking to you now? He openly did admit that he knew that he was committing a crime, but he felt the dead children were calling out to him to be rescued and believed that the rescuing the children were more important than obeying the law. Does that sound like someone who's crazy deserves to be in a psychiatrical clinic? No. I mean, help me understand, because I'm lost for words right now. At one point in his life, against the wishes of the parents, he tried to adopt a child. Yeah, you heard that correctly. So he didn't have kids. It's not that he couldn't have kids. He didn't have kids. Well, he probably couldn't because he was too focused on mummifying the dead that he just didn't focus on finding a real woman and having a family with her. So he like felt bad for himself. He regretted that he didn't have kids of his own. So he chose this route. And then he also tried to adopt a child from unwilling parents who weren't okay with it. So that's called kidnapping. So he didn't have any sexual desires with these dolls, but he did consider these children his children. These deceased children, unalive children, his children. Now, my question is, what about the women? The 29-year-old women, the 26-year-old, whatever age they were, the adults that you mummified. What were they to you? Homeboy would sing songs to them, watch cartoons with them. He would even do happy birthday, hold birthday parties, sing happy birthday to them, celebrate holidays for their benefit. So with all that said, I'm going to give my input. And do I feel like that he should have been in a psychiatric home? No. I feel like he should have been incarcerated, locked up. I have different view. Like, I don't know really what to say, because to me it's very extreme. But you'll be hearing more different cases with makeup looks that I do. For the ones that's been following me for a long time, I started this in a group. It didn't go very well because it was private, so I decided to open it back up into on my public page, and decided to do voiceovers. It'd be a lot easier for me to be able to do voiceovers and edit and tell the story while doing a makeup look. So expect to see more of these, hear more of these stories, different types of stories, trying to match them with particular looks and things. And I thought this creepy doll look would fit right into this story. I pray for the families affected by this. It is very sad, and I am extremely disappointed in the system for just letting him go to a psychiatric home, let alone being released to his own personal home. And as parents, we need to be vigilant. Stay on top of what your kids are doing.